Hi, my name is Kelly Boker, and I began this journey of awakening about a year and 1 month ago. I wanted to share with you all a little bit about that process. I had been not doing terribly well. We'd been going through COVID, the pandemic. We were made to come back to school that following year, and it was really difficult. I'm a registered nurse and I teach the CNA program, and I was expected to teach bed making over the computer, which was a real treat. You can imagine an incredible amount of stress, and there was also life things going on. It was 58. When I was 58, 59 years old is when this all kind of came to a head, and I just wasn't doing well. And something that's often the case with people when they are getting ready to awaken, people call it the dark night of the soul. I don't think I would go quite that far for myself, because I don't think I needed to go that dark. I wasn't okay. I'm naturally a very happy person. I'm a very joyful person, and the voice in my head is usually pretty positive. And all of a sudden, the voice in my head was grumpy and, quite frankly, bitchy. And I couldn't seem to bring myself out of it. I tried all my tricks. I'm, very well-read woman. I have a big toolbox full of tools to help me cope with things, and I could not bring myself out of that hole. And so I did what I've done a couple of different times throughout my life. I got counseling, and I completely recommend that to people. I started counseling, seeing this lady every other week and learning to do some stuff, and really learned some things about myself. I learned that I did have some inner childhood work that I needed to do, and the beginning process for that. And I learned a lot of different things, and did a lot of personal work, I would say. Towards November, the end of November of 2021, my therapist told me to look up what it meant to be an empath. And when I dove into the computer, into Google, figuring out what it meant to be an empath, it was like I had taken the cork out of the genie's bottle, quite frankly. I learned very quickly. It was like something within myself just fell away. I had a lot of preconceived ideas and dogmatic views from childhood, being raised a Baptist, being told over and over that if I surrendered my mind, that the devil was going to take me over and I was going to be bad, and I didn't want to be bad. So I avoided anything like that a good part of my life. But during this time, it all coalesced. And when it did, I knew that I was on my way. I was on a journey to awakening. I had no idea that I was on a journey to being able to be a channel and a medium. And I certainly didn't have a clue what light language was about. But over that following year in 2022, I channeled my guides for the first time in January. I laid my phone on my chest, got into an altered state of meditation, and just started to kind of chant, let the words come, let the words come, step into that sacred space, let the words come, and boom, out they started to come. They identified themselves as Lacruz, and I think Lacruz has been my guide, my steadfast part of this group that I think we all have. But Lacruz is the core. What I know now is that when I reach out, if I'm working with a client or if I even just have a personal question, I reach out for my highest good. Many, many aspects other than or in addition to Lacruz comes through. And it's a beautiful thing. So I really have the ability to have this dialogue. I meet with clients and they ask questions, I channel the answers, and it's been a really positive thing. So in March of that same year, 2022, I did my first mediumship reading. They had given me in the morning in my meditation, they said, it's time, you need to set an appointment. So I had a friend at work who had lost her dad about a year before. We made an appointment for the following day. That morning when I got up to do my meditation that I do in the morning, I cried out to my guides. I have no frickety frackin' idea, to say at least, what I'm supposed to do. I was scared and I was nervous and I needed help. And I'm here to tell you that I got the most beautiful download. It just came through step by step, exactly what I would need. I am a person who needs to know what I'm supposed to do. And they gave me minutia: walk into the room, clear the energy of the room, ground yourself. I mean, boom, 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 just exactly how to go about it. So when I met with that lady and brought through her dad, I brought through amazing evidence, concrete, irrefutable evidence. It was amazing. And then I brought through, my energy melded with his and I channeled him. I had no idea that that was going to happen, but I did. I was able to channel her dad, and he brought through some beautiful healing messages for his daughter. It was quite remarkable in that we had probably been going 40 minutes, which I guess now I know is unusual for a new medium to be able to hold the link that long. We were crying, noses were running, we needed tissues. And so we stopped, we were both laughing and going, holy crap, can you believe this is real, blah, blah, blah. And we were overwhelmed, got tissues, blew our nose, and I got hit with a wave of energy and I went, oh my God, he's not done. And I sat back down and I sat back and closed my eyes, and he came through, and she had been holding back. She had something she needed to heal. And I won't go into the details of that, but he knew what it was and she knew what it was. And so he drew it out of her. It healed. And I think she was far better off from having had the interaction. So I went on throughout that year practicing, doing my best to learn how to be a medium, how to help people in the best way that I knew how. I decided to retire. One had nothing to do with the other, but I was ready to be done in my teaching career. And June rolled around and school was done. I was meditating one morning, and again, out of the blue, I'm meditating, I'm channeling, I'm talking like I do quite regularly. And all of a sudden, the first thing that happened was my feet started to vibrate. A wave of energy worked its way up my body. And when it hit about here, I started to speak a different language that I didn't understand. And my hands started to gesture. And I'm in my head, and I'm going to say it. Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. I was scared to death. And I'm crying out to my guides, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And they said, just stop. I am going. Light language is coming. My hands are going. And I'm in my mind, because this all happens instantaneously. And I say, is this for my highest good? And they said, yes. And I said, don't leave me. And they said, we never leave you. And they pulled their energy around me with such love and support from behind, just around, hugging me. But they left the front open. And my hands kept going. And it only lasted about 9 or 10 minutes. And now I can bring through light language anytime I want to in just a heartbeat. From my heart to yours. I don't even know what it means. I know that my higher self knows what it means, and your higher self knows what it means, and it can be a tremendous, powerful blessing. So I've gone on from there. In August, in 4 weeks, I wrote my first book called Redefining Faith: A Woman's Journey from Wounded to Awakened. And I was quite overwhelmed at the process of getting it up self-publishing to Amazon. So it took me till November of, excuse me, to get it published. As soon as I got it published, I started the second book called Establishing Your Frequency. And I wrote that it was over the holidays, so it took me a few months to write that, but that is now available on Amazon as well. That book is remarkable. I've read it myself through since it's been in print in my hands once, and I've started back at the beginning already. It's a book that you don't just read, you study. And they gave us some beautiful strategies of how to establish your frequency to create the life that you want. And we're all familiar, or if you're listening to this, you're probably familiar with the law of attraction, and we know that it works. We know it's part of our world, there's no question, but there's always been a little bit of a piece of it that's not worked quite consistently. And this book speaks to that, tending to the frequency of the present moment, with the focus being on the joy and the wonder of the present moment. And when you do that, you are basically writing a blank check to the universe saying, bring me the best, greatest, awesomest thing that you can bring me. And you collapse that timeline that resonates with who you are, and it is just fabulous. They gave me lots of tips and tricks and strategies of ways to do that. And then they brought through, one morning when I thought we were just going to do the next chapter, they told me to write this. There was a list of names of angels that I had available to me. And they said, put those angels' names in your document. So I did. And then I said, what now? They said, each of those angels are going to come to you and they're going to write a section in your book. I went into an absolute energetic meltdown. I started to cry. I felt so unworthy. How could they think I could possibly specifically reach out to angels by name and get different downloads than what I got from my guides? I was overwhelmed. And they brought through a practice, a process, that was incredible. They just walked me through it with energy and color and talked me right through it. And I released everything I needed to release. And it was replaced with a knowing that I am as worthy as anyone else ever born to do this work. And by golly, those angels came through one at a time. I would sit down. If I had time to write, I would say one of the names a few times, and I would get a different wave of energy that felt different to me. Sometimes the voice sounded different. The dialect and the cadence typically was different. And they each brought through a beautiful message. There was one angel for each of the 7 chakras, and they resonate with those chakras. And there is the angel Ariel, who is above, who is the facilitator between us and the cosmos. And there's angel Michael, who is below the chakra system, who is the facilitator between our energy system and Mother Earth. And they gave such beautiful, beautiful information on how to live your life and utilize that energy system for our success and our ability to create and manifest the life that we want. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself and my journey, and I'm welcoming you to my channel. I hope you subscribe, and I hope that our paths will overlap, and that anything that the guides prompt me to put out here onto this channel will be a blessing to you. So have a great day.